Welcome to this Discovery Webcast series, an introduction to Elite Manufacturers. I'm Andrew Blackie and I'm a Commercial Manager for Elite Dynamics. Within this webcast, we're going to go through reporting and analytics, the account management process, creating sales quotes and sales orders, customer service, looking at PDIs, appliances, managing your service tickets and after-sales process, and engineer management. Let's take a deep dive and have a look into the system of how Elite Manufacturers can change your business. Starting with dashboards for Elite Manufacturers, this is where all of your information can be pulled at different levels without the business. For example, as a sales overview, where you're able to see your inventory, your sales quotes, orders, and all the way through to invoices. Even though these may not be directly inputted into the system, you can integrate it with your finance system and display the data in a graphical form. For example, one of the benefits to having this information within a dashboard is where you have the drill down capability. For example, I'm looking at my sales quotes by status reason. If I drill through to the corresponding records, I can then interrogate the information even further and say of my live quotes, what park do these relate to? And then I'm able to see that in a little bit more detail. And then on the right hand side, I'm able to then drill down directly into one of these records. Then, where I can drill down even further and see what model or models these relate to. For example, if I select on this park, I select my model, different graph, and then I can see these live quotes are relating to the following models. And again, each time I change the chart, it will also change the quotes on the right hand side. And this is the benefit from having all of this information within the Elite Manufacturer environment, whether it be transacted within the system or fed in from an external system. I also have the full capabilities of integrating with Power BI, our Elite Analytics module. This is where, when you can select Visualize the view, it will display the current data that you're currently filtered on in our Power BI platform. You can also use Power BI for management reporting, scheduling reports within the business, and high-level analytics within all of your areas on Elite Manufacturers. If we now go back to the dashboard, there's also other areas that you can do within dashboards where you're able to expand them and see the full information on your full screen. Once you've drilled through onto the chart, this is where you're able to utilize an integrated marketing solution, where you could potentially select all of the records and add to a marketing list, email a direct link to a member of the team, or simply export to Excel, all within a couple of clicks. Dashboards can be built for all areas of the business. For example, an engineer management dashboard, where you're fully able to schedule work for certain engineers by postcode, where you can see their work scheduled this week, and then be able to see the tickets that they've been allocated over a month, week, couple of month period, and see what capacity certain engineers have. And this can all be done on a live dashboard that's presenting your data in real time. Let's move on and see how easy it is to create your own sales quotes and orders within the system. If I go onto an account record, within the account, this will give you all of the high-level information about that particular customer. For example, if we go into Seaside Lodges, you'll be able to see all of their main contact details. On the right-hand side, their account profile, so how many parks they've got, open quotes, orders, invoices, and also their service tickets. Along the tabs along the top, you will be able to drill directly into each record. So for example, into the park record, I can see how many plots they've got onto their park profile, their engineer area codes, and after-sale area codes, each with having their own timeline where you can store all information, upload documents, email, and also set appointments. From the account record, you can simply go to Sales Quotes, New Sales Quote. You give the sales quote a name, what type of sales quote it is, and then save. Within here, you're able to input the park if you're aware of that at this stage, and also the contact of who this quote would be going to. The contact record is important as this will send all of their information on the automated journeys. You've got the ability to add in your payment terms. Once you've added this key information, select Save, and then move over to Quote Lines. Within these three sections, we've built this EliteManufacturers sales quote area for ease of use. The first thing you need to do is select your model, how many you're wanting to quote for, and the discount level for the group or the park that you're quoting for. Once you've done this, the system will work out the excluding VAT and VAT amounts based on your RRP that is already stored against the model within the system. Just to show you that as an example, you're then able to load all of the areas that you need, including the 5% and the 20% split. And once that quote is raised, it will then take the discount off the total values. Once you've selected your model, you can then simply go to the model options. The model options will only be available for that particular item. So for example, I can select central heating, a dining set, and also double glazing. Again, these are only unique to this particular model. This will work out the pricing for me on those model options. I also have the ability to add in any model extras. This is useful for anything over and above the model and the model option. Things like DF capital, Lombard fees, transport, siting, anything over and above those options that you can add into your sales quote. Once you've inputted all of those areas, you can then simply hit the calculate quote at the top of the screen, and that will then calculate and bring the lines through to the main quote page. I can then go into my price breakdown and see my individual items in each section. If I go back to my first general tab, I can see my overall quote total based on a quantity of 5. I can then export my quote template out to the customer. I can either download to print or send straight via email. Let's just take a look at that. You can then send out the quote template. This can be fully designed in your own branding and display which information you need, crucial to the customer. For example, you can choose to display or not to display the discount line, your manufacturer's RRP, and then the option specification as requested, with a total at the bottom of the full overall value of 5 units. Once that quote is accepted, you can then simply go to the ribbon, select Accept Quote, and OK. The system will then lock down this quote record and can no longer be modified, and will now go away and create your sales orders for you in the background, creating 5 individual orders that can be bound directly to the individual unit record, and of course a direct one-on-one relationship to the serial number. If I now go through to my sales orders section, I can now see I've got 5 individual sales orders for that overall quote. I'm now able to go into these elements, and I can now work on an individual sales order line. I have a couple of options here where I can stop my processing in EliteManufacturers CRM, produce a work order and send to the factory. I can batch it up with multiple records, or I could have direct integration with our EliteManufacturers Business Central solution, where it could send through now to an order to then go through to production. I've also got the option to manage my sales orders by statuses, where I can say at each stage when it's being sent to factory, what the estimated build date is, and of course, crucially, when the unit is locked off. When it is locked off, it will then create the unit record and can automatically create the serial number. Again, this can be integrated with your existing system or from our Elite Manufacturers Business Central system. At each one of these stages, it can also update your customer via automated customer journeys. So when it is locked off and no further changes can be made to the specification, it can trigger an email and notify them of this change. When you do have an actual build date and it's been batched, you could also notify the customer of this. And then finally on the sales order, you are then able to set the ready for dispatch area, and once it's ready for dispatch, it can move through to our dispatch manager, which is something we're working on that's coming very soon, where you can manage the unit from dispatch to park, including delivery notes. And that is the capabilities of the sales quote to sales order, where you can manage all of your model and model options. You can manage the integration fully with a factory, whether it be manual update or integration with your existing system or our Business Central manufacturing system. Once these have all been set, you can then fully manage the unit after that. And that is where the PDI options come in play, as well as your risk assessments and your customer service side with after sales. Let's move over to that side so we can take a look further. As my unit has now been locked and no further changes can be made, I can see it's now created the unit record. If I drill through to this unit record, this is where I can see information such as the bound sales order details. I've got my dispatch information where I can start to manage the transporter and the dispatch date. I can see here that I've got TBC in my serial number. As mentioned earlier, this can be integrated with your existing system and populated, or it could be auto-generated directly from the Elite Manufacturer solution. This will always give me the full allocation details of the account and the park that this unit is meant for. Once the unit arrives on park, I can populate with further information, plot number, access, including the owner of the particular holiday home. One of the ways that you can work with PDIs is once you set a dispatch date, this can automatically trigger a workflow in the background to build your PDI information. The status is now updated to dispatched, and if I go over to the PDI section, I can see it's generated a park PDI record. This can generate any type of PDI that is required. If I drill into that PDI, I can then start to populate. It can auto-generate each area that needs a PDI, or this can be done manually. All of these areas are completely configurable to your needs. Once I drill into each individual section, I can set my location, area, and fault, put in any additional comments, upload an image, and then finally create a service ticket if required. I've also got the ability to load in my appliance information, where I've got the option to set all of my white goods with the make, the model, and the serial number. That will constantly be stored against the individual stock record. Once I've completed my dispatch and my PDI, I can then move on to my warranty section. The system will also store your key warranty dates and can also be driven automatically based on the dispatch date. If we then move into tickets, I can create a new parent ticket, where this would be the PDI snagging items. I can set this for internal allocation on person responsible, the title of the ticket, and also the priority and the contact. The contact, as mentioned earlier, is really important because this can drive your customer journey information. Within the ticket, I can see all of the stock details, the warranty information, and then I can populate with more details on the main notes. Once I have populated this information, it will bring through the engineer area code, and then I can start to populate the individual line items. I go to a new service ticket and say that this is a broken boiler, what my location is, my area, and the particular fault. These three fault details here gives you great visibility for your reporting, where you're able to drill down by model, by park, by location, by engineer of exactly what is happening within your units, and gives you great visibility utilizing those dashboards as we've seen earlier, and also within Power BI, where you can really get true detail year on year, month by month. As you can see here on the service ticket, you're able to set full visibility for the engineer on the scheduling, whether they need parts and engineers required or more than one resource is required. Scheduling cannot happen until ready to allocate has been ticked, and this stops tickets being allocated where parts have not yet been received. Once I save that, I can manage this through the business process flow along the ribbon at the top, where I can move through to all the stages, and at any time, any individual within the organization can see exactly what's happening within the ticket. This is also timed and able to tell you how long it takes you from start to finish to complete. Once again, my timeline, where I'm able to add in all of the key information. If I need to email the customer with Outlook integration, this will track and bring all of the communications back into this individual record so it can be viewed by all teams involved. With the integration to the customer portal, I can communicate with the customer via the timeline also, where I could do portal comments. So when the ticket first comes in, they can then be communicated within the timeline, which stops the needs for constant emails and phone calls and direct everyone to the customer portal for ease of access, and the customer will always get all the information required 24 hours, 7 days a week. If I go to my parts section, I'm then able to add a new part. I can manually type in the part name and how many is required, also the serial number and the warranty expiry date on the part. I also have the option, again, to integrate this with your existing system or with our EliteManufacturers Business Central system, where you could, for example, directly bring in the BOM information. Or it could just simply be a parts list in Excel that could be uploaded in a table behind, where you're then able to select the key detail of what you need for that particular part. Once I've loaded in the part, I can then work through a series of statuses. Where has my part been ordered, received, collected, or returned? This allows for scheduling of service tickets to only be available once it gets to a part received status, and that in turn will change the ticket in the front to be of the same status. All of my service tickets and the parts can be pulled up into the parts required area, so that the engineers or the after sales team can look into this area at any time and be able to see parts required for next week, this week, and so on, just by utilizing the views within the system. You've also got the capabilities of adding in SLA, and this can be set based on any criteria and any status. Once you've completed all of the service ticket information, it then can be scheduled to an engineer. You've got the options to complete and cancel tickets, or create more tickets from that parent, so you're managing the individual items. Because we do recognize that not all tickets will be undertaken by your engineers and can be undertaken by external parties. This can be handled too with referrals. With service tickets, you can also manage risk assessments, hazards, that can be done at a ticket level or at a park level before the engineer undertakes the work. For example, if I select the risk assessment and select New, I've got the ability to add all of my control measures in, as well as at the very bottom, being able to sign on an iPad, phone, or a desktop, as I am now with a mouse. So this again can be logged directly against the unit itself. If you have any further questions on anything I've been through today, please contact us at info@elitedynamics.co.uk, or you can call us on 0161 615 5548, or you can contact us through our website at elitedynamics.co.uk. Thank you so much.